Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Have you ever done an escape room? That's one of the most fun things that my family does. We have annual traditions going to different escape rooms. But have you ever been curious about the behind the scenes of it? Maybe the business side or the creative process, or even just some of the secrets that you may not know. Well, I have the privilege on spending a little time with Julie Cole. You are owner or co-owner?
Co-owner, yeah, my husband and I.
Okay, co-owner of Fox-N-Otter Adventure Escape Rooms.
Correct.
There are two locations. This is in Asheville, North Carolina, or is this technically Arden?
Yes, South Asheville.
South
Arden.
Asheville, okay. North Carolina, but then also in Hendersonville.
Correct.
In the mall.
Yeah.
So she's giving up a little bit of her time for an interview and hopefully inside perspective. And thank you so much. And we'll see some of the secrets and maybe even get to see some of the rooms.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just a fun perspective.
Yeah.
So I guess first things first is the questions I'm sure you get asked. How did you come up with the name of Fox-N-Otter?
Yeah. Well, when we started out this journey about 9 years ago, we didn't really totally know what we were getting into, but we had this idea that actually my husband, he didn't really like the idea of escape rooms. He thought, I don't really want to be locked in a room with a bunch of strangers and have to finish math problems to get out.
I hear that, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, I don't think I explained this right. So we had gone for our anniversary to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and while we were there, I had the anniversary card. So I was like, oh, let's go play an escape room.
Yep.
So I researched the different ones around there, found a really well-rated one, and we went and played. And after digging through zombie guts and going through a secret refrigerator, my husband was like sold, right?
Okay.
Like he was like, this is so fun. And so we, on our 5-hour drive home, we thought, he said, well, what if we did something like that in Asheville? I go, well, they do have escape rooms in Asheville. I've been doing them for a while.
Sure, yep.
And he goes, no, they don't have that in Asheville. I go, well, what if we did something like that?
Yeah.
And we really had this, I had a pretty strong sense that we wanted to do something a little different.
Yeah.
You can dig through zombie guts, and that's super fun too sometimes. But I just thought, you know what? If we do something, I really want it to be something that's accessible to family groups and not kiddish, because my husband said that family friendly to most dads is like lame. And so I said, well, then we're gonna have to make something that's not lame.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we began talking about what kind of name we would call it and what kind of games we would have. And we could call it something like the Mysterium or break something, but we wanted to have adventures. We wanted to have missions. And so we started thinking about what would convey both the fun and the whimsy and something intriguing too. So we came up with Fox-N-Otter, kind of these polarized perspectives, which over time we found really represented us in big ways too.
Oh, okay.
And
so Fox-N-Otter, then y'all got your own roles, or
Yeah. So at the beginning of this whole adventure, I was more of the fox, the planner, the figure it out. My husband was a little more the otter, like, well, let's just get our hands in there and do it.
Yep.
And as over time, as we watched people play and we really grew ourselves, we really began to see how there's great advantages to both approaches.
Yeah. And
there's something really great about highlighting the strengths in people and inviting them to stretch, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know. Like the first time ever hearing about them, it's like once again, you're locked in a room, and that's been some of the things that have been most concerning to other friends and families. But it's so safe. I mean, there are some escape rooms that the door's always open if you need to leave.
Right. As ours are.
Yeah, that's perfect. And we've done several of your rooms over here and then over at the Asheville Mall, which sadly just closed.
Yeah.
We had such a great time there was one of a Mini Cooper. Actually, we walk into a room and there's a Mini Cooper there, and that was called Gino's. That was such a fun one. Whatever happened to Gino?
Car?
Yeah, what happened to the car? Are you able to say?
Best I know, it's still there in the Asheville Mall. So I guess they get to figure out what they want to do with it. But we do have a boat in the Blue Ridge Mall, so we've still got a spectacle.
Oh, that's
there.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were talking about you and your husband did the zombie guts one over in Chattanooga. That was the first one that y'all did together. But you had done escape rooms before.
Yeah.
Do you remember what your first escape room was?
Yeah, my very first one, we went downtown and we played at Breakout, and I think we played Hostage, you know, the one where they handcuff you.
I did that one.
Yeah.
It was weird.
We totally lost. We totally lost. I'd never done it before, and a lot of first time players don't really know what they're getting into, so they're like, no, we don't need any hints, and so they spend the entire time not making any progress, and then they run out of time.
Yep.
So that's okay. I lost my first game too, and if you do, don't give up. And you know, we try our best here at Fox-N-Otter to set expectations.
Sure.
More like, hey, you know, if we have a group of 2 come in who's never played before and says they don't want any hints, I mean, we'll give you the game you want.
Yep.
But also, if it's been 7 to 10 minutes, you haven't made any progress on a puzzle step, like that's a long time, escape room time to not be moving forward.
Absolutely.
And we try to give like the tiniest nudge forward just to keep the game moving.
That's great.
And we offer unlimited hints. I remember in the industry originally, there was kind of like this 3-hint limit thing that was like strictly enforced. Like, well, if you run out, too bad.
Yeah.
We offer unlimited hints. So there are groups who use no hints, and there are groups that use 2 or 3. And then we also try to be really accessible to family groups and first-time players, small groups, and kid groups.
Yeah.
So even though our games are not made for kids, they are accessible. Yeah. So sometimes they take a hint for almost every step, and they still love it, you know. So.
That's the fun part about it. Yep. So I guess going to the history of Fox-N-Otter, what was the first game that y'all made?
Yes. So actually, this is our original location here in South Asheville, and we had half of the size of the space we have now. And we just opened with 2 games. We had the Da Vinci Diamond, which is still here to this day.
We did it. We actually completed that.
Yeah, and it's been designed and redesigned so many times over the years because people still just, I don't know. And as of late, the 11-year-olds are like, I'm gonna play the Da Vinci Diamond.
There you go.
You know, and we used to not recommend it to younger players. It's our most suspenseful plot line.
Sure.
It's not scary, but it is. You know, it's more detective based and crime solving, and there's some fun surprises. But now all the 11-year-olds like want to play it, and so I had to kind of redesign it a little bit to get. There were just a few puzzles that were just a little too hard.
Yeah.
For 11-year-olds, and really slowed the game down for them. So we redesigned it. We didn't make it easier, just I think more fun.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Super Secret was the other one, and it's had a couple of lives as well. It was originally here at the South Asheville location, and it was our first game that we made that we really did design to be accessible to kids to play on their own with no adult, which was a real feat. People weren't really doing that in the industry at the time. They were like, no, either they didn't allow kids in their games at all, or they were just kind of like maybe a couple kids, and a bunch of adults. And I remember my kids playing a couple of the first times, and they were 8 and 10 when we started all this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they just felt like they couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
They couldn't contribute because either the logic was just beyond their developmental level.
Right. Yeah.
So we made the Super Secret, which was really literal and a little more linear. It was, instead of 2 or 3 layers of logic, it was single layered logic.
Okay.
And surprisingly, even though it was super fun to them, adults found it quite challenging too, because the adults can sometimes overthink things a little bit.
Yeah, we do. I remember at the very end, because we did that one as well with a group of buddies of mine, and just the ending with there's a lock, where it was just
directional lock.
That directional lock that took us forever.
Yeah.
How many numbers?
Yeah, it's a lot. It was a lot. You're like, what? How many directions?
But that was it was, once again, that logic though, and that thinking. It was still a great one.
Yeah.
And that was superhero themed too.
Yeah.
Super Secret. So
Super Secret. Yep. And that was the gateway for a lot of families, a lot of kids into a love of escape rooms, I think.
Yeah.
And I thought I very nearly redesigned it again because we moved it to the Asheville Mall and upgraded and updated it. And the industry has changed over the years.
Okay.
That game had almost no tech in it.
Mm-hmm.
Originally. It was mostly locks and keys, and kids love that.
Oh yeah.
They love that. Like, oh, I never have seen this before. I have never used this before. And stretching their fine motor skills is a real like part of their developmental process. You know?
No, that's great.
So in some ways, we're tricking them into learning and growing and developing. And so I very nearly redesigned it to put at Hendersonville again.
Mm-hmm.
And I just woke up one morning and I thought, nope, we're making a new game. And so we have a new game we'll be building there. It's going to be called The Final Wish: A Genie's Tale.
Ooh.
I've always wanted to do a genie game. It's always just been in my heart to do. I think it would be so fun to spend part of the game in the lamp. Don't you?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Any idea when that's going yet?
Lord willing, the end of this year. We're hoping it'll be ready for the Christmas season. But also, I'm trying to also have a life.
I understand. Yeah, right.
So sometimes though, I get creative bursts that like a lot comes out at once.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So that sort of actually goes to one of my next questions was, what is your creative design? Or how do you get inspired? I mean, you've always wanted to do a genie.
Yeah.
But how do you come up with the different ideas? Yeah,
that's a great question. I get asked that a lot.
I'm sure.
And I'm sure it's different for different game creators. For me, it's a very organic process.
Right.
I personally start with inspiration, things that, like I said, I kind of have in my heart to do that I think would be fun.
Yeah.
That I think would be like, oh, I've always wanted to be a superhero. I've always wanted to be in a genie's lamp. I've always wanted to be in a game show, or I've always wanted, to whatever the case. Or I just think that sounds fun, because if it sounds fun to me, I mean, probably it is.
Yeah.
And then I spend a lot of time at antique malls, like just walking around. I almost never buy anything, but sometimes I do. And it's usually something that inspires me. Sometimes it's a piece of furniture that I just think, oh, that's an interesting piece of furniture.
Right.
That's painted the right way, altered in the right way, could be interesting to interact with. I think people want to explore and touch and feel environments. Sometimes I got a lot of stuff on Amazon. Let's not joke.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's my mission to find the strangest locks you've ever seen that are interesting, that in normal day-to-day life you don't get to touch and feel and interact with.
Yeah.
So and then it's a little bit like a puzzle in reverse.
I was about to say, is it like reverse engineering? You know where you want to get to, and then how are we going to get to those spots?
Yeah. Or even sometimes I'll take a puzzle piece and I'll be like, oh, if I was going to make a puzzle out of this puzzle piece, what picture would it begin to make? So it goes back and forth between what puzzle do I want to get to and what puzzle could this create, until it kind of just goes back and forth until we have this cohesive thing.
Is it like, do you also storyboard it, I guess, in its own way?
I love a good sticky note board.
Sure.
Yeah. Normally when we get down to the final stages of sequencing, I have sticky notes with each puzzle step and piece, because they can connect in different ways.
Yeah.
And in some ways, escape rooms are like pouring out a puzzle on a table and finding the like pieces and putting them together. Originally, the sign on our door at this location says Fox-N-Otter Adventure Puzzle Rooms.
Okay.
That was the original name that we came out with, and truly we are a puzzle room. Like it's an environment that you're using 3D elements to put them together to come to a final solution.
It's so beautifully done. What y'all done is like, this is always one of our favorites. We look forward to coming to Fox-N-Otter.
Well, and we had, at some point we had to rebrand a little bit because people were more familiar with the escape room, just words, and even still, every day we meet people, oh, what's that?
Yeah, right, right.
So you're working against the current of educating the world at what an escape room is.
Right.
But at the heart, we're a puzzle room. Yeah. We're not trying to break out of anything. We're an adventure puzzle room.
How many rooms have y'all created over the time, would you say?
Oh, that's a good question. I think we're working on number 11.
Okay.
Because and it kind of depends on how you count them, because I'll tell you a funny story.
Yeah.
So like I said, this was our original location. We had 1,000 square feet, which is not very much.
Right.
And we started with the 2 games, Da Vinci Diamond and Super Secret. And then, and at first we're like, well, I wonder what this is going to take. I don't know. We're first-time business owners. And it started to snowball.
Yeah.
People really started to respond, especially family groups who were like, I don't know, I think there's so very few things that you can do together and feel like you're all being a part and everyone's contributing their piece and you have a memory that's like way better than a movie at the end, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So Christmas was coming and I thought, oh, I really want to make a Christmas game, but we had 1,000 square feet and 2 games already taken up, and all we had left was like a back room, small back room, and the hallway.
Yeah.
So we literally made a game from the hallway and a couple of back spaces that were very small, because it's a puzzle, right?
Absolutely.
So we had a Christmas game. It was called the Winter Wonder, that later was morphed into the Wonder Cabin, and then later was moved to Hendersonville and became like a different version of the Wonder Cabin, because to my dismay, everyone was like, oh, I want to play the Wonder Cabin. I'm like, but it's the hallway game.
Right.
So eventually when we opened the Hendersonville location, I thought, you know what, the Wonder Cabin deserves its own space.
Sure.
And people love it. I don't know if it's the Wonder or if it's the Cabin, but they want to play the Wonder Cabin.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so it just was retired after 5 years
Okay.
at the Hendersonville location.
Now, do you have a favorite room or one that you're most proud of?
Oh, yeah. I think my personal 2 favorites. Oh gosh, that's so hard to say. I like them for different reasons.
Absolutely.
People do too.
In the stories and the memories.
Yeah. The favorite game to run, favorite game to make. I have a special place in my heart for Fantastic Force that was at the Asheville location. It probably won't come back because it required quite a bit of square footage.
Sure, yeah.
You can't really put a forest in 1,000 square feet,
No,
unfortunately.
No.
Yeah, but that was the game that I pretty much solely created during the COVID shutdowns.
Okay, yeah.
We were closed for multiple months and couldn't operate, and we're like, well, are we going to be able to salvage this business that we just opened a second location of? And so I spent a lot of time in my living room making puzzles for that game. I wasn't hurried. I could just paint and create and think about like what would be an interesting puzzle we haven't done before. So there are some elements of that I really cherish for me.
Yeah.
But I think our funnest game, I'll be honest, is Cirque du Saboteur, which was the one we just reinstalled in Hendersonville. It's just the most fun to watch people play.
Sure.
They laugh the most if they get in character.
Yeah, you gotta let down that wall.
Yeah. But people they laugh, and it's whimsical and delightful. So I think that one probably is my favorite.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you want to go to a room and continue?
Yeah, that's
awesome.